Phenomenology, one of the most misunderstood techniques out there. Hi, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy, Walden University. And in this segment, I'll be going over something called phenomenology, that is a segment of qualitative research. This is actually an intro to a book, very interesting. The readers of your study will be able to walk a mile in the shoes of the participants to learn firsthand what that experience is like. This is, I think, a very interesting interpretation and an interesting example, actually, of phenomenology. Another example is what is it like for a pregnant woman to be repeatedly battered by her partner? Something else, what is it like for a person to have to sell the family business? What is it like for a man to be diagnosed with prostate cancer? So these are various places where phenomenology has meaning. So why use phenomenology as a research approach? In phenomenology, researchers attempt to put aside their past experiences, biases, everyday understanding, and presuppositions about what they are studying in order to learn to see the phenomenon with fresh eyes without those blinders on. So objectivity is critical, and the lived experiences are sought, which is the experience a person lives through before we have a reflective view. There's actually two types of phenomenology here. One is and they talk about that here. One of them is so the two types of phenomenology are descriptive phenomenology and interpretive phenomenology. And then in descriptive phenomenology, the essence of an experience is described. However, interpretive phenomenology is also called hermeneutic phenomenology. And in hermeneutics, that is the science of interpretation. So interpretation is viewed as critical to understanding. Co-constructing the data with the research participants as understanding is achieved through a continual movement between the parts of the whole of the text and the participants' descriptions. One of the things that is actually key to understanding phenomenology is that there's techniques by certain authors. For instance, in descriptive or interpretive phenomenology, what type or whose approach was used? Was it Georgi? Was it Van Manen? Was it Kolesi? These studies appear to be more like generic qualitative research that does not follow a specific qualitative design. For instance, in Georgi's approach, the research should not go back to the participants to validate the findings. Some researchers did report they returned to the participants for member checking, even though they stated that they used Georgi's methodology. So very important to use the technique that the author of the qualitative study has used. When you're talking about phenomenology, one of the things that is also important to keep in mind is that there's something called method slurring, and phenomenology is not exempt from this problematic issue. Phenomenological studies, for instance, where the researcher has combined aspects of more than one methodology together, risks method slurring. picking and choosing parts of different phenomenological methodologies, combining them in one study definitely lessens its methodological rigor. And so one reason for reviewers rejecting a manuscript for every publication is a journal in a journal is method slurring. Also, it grants get poor scores if there's too many theories being used and there's method slurring. So I've provided you with two types of phenomenological approaches, and I've provided you with something important to keep in mind, that is method slurring. I hope this has provided you with great insight. Thank you for listening.